Hello, everybody. I'm Jaret Reddick, and this is a podcast. Jaret Goes to the Movies. Hopefully you have seen or heard one of my many musical endeavors, and if you have, then you know how much I love movies. This is movie commentary with no movie knowledge. This podcast is me and my friend Rich talking about movies that we like, but my name's on it because I'm famous. This is Jaret Goes to the Movies. Still. Okay, we're starting now.
Once in your life, you find her, someone who turns your heart around, and next thing you know, you're closing down the town. Wake up and it's still with you, even though you left your way across town. Wondering to yourself, hey, what have I found? When you get caught between the moon and New York City, I know it's crazy, but it's true. If you get caught between the moon and New York City, best that you can do, best that you can do is fall in love.
Oh, man, I totally thought that was going to go into the whole first, just like the car driving down, and it just laughing. So anyway, hi, everybody. My name is Jaret, and this is Jaret Goes to the Movies. With me, as always, is Rich.
What's up?
And my lovely lady, Casey.
Hello.
Here we are all together. It's like the old days. It's just us together, the three of us in here, and just... It's
Like last week?
cozy, just like last week, yes. But we often have guests, you know. We have Tim Toole, my neighbor, and then we have your dad in from time to time. And next week, we will have in Ashley Miller. She's the voice of the Texas Legends during the games here in Frisco, Texas. And she is also on KVGI Radio, which is an internet radio station that you can listen to for free online anytime. And Jaret Goes to the Movies broadcasts every single Friday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time.
That's right.
So big shout out to KVGI. They've been amazing to us. And it's super cool to watch a station build itself from the ground up. And it's even cooler to be involved in that. We're talking about the movie Arthur this week, and this was my pick. And boy, am I glad we picked it. And we're going to jump right into that here shortly. But let's move around the room, just check in with everybody. Rich, how are you doing?
I'm dandy.
Are you?
Yes.
You're doing dandy. Now you're taking a little bit of time off from the social world.
Figured you were going to bring that up.
Well, you know, it kind of caught me a little bit off guard because I said, "Hey, can we?" Because those of you who are joining us here, let's just throw it all out there. This is a building podcast. We're really, really trying to make this great and trying to build the audience. And this is our 30th episode, and we've got so many things going on with it. We have a Patreon site where you can go and you can be a sponsor of the show for lack of a better term.
Right.
You're a supporter of it for $1 a month, $3. I mean, $1 a month, $5, whatever. And there's certain perks that you get with those things. So we're constantly trying to make sure that we're doing that all correctly.
Yep.
To get to that, just go to patreon.com, click on, and just search Jaret Goes to the Movies. And you really will have a lot of fun. We're having a blast with everybody.
Yep.
26 supporters right now, and all of them amazing. So anyway, I was telling Rich we need to have a talk about all the stuff going on because we have all of these things happening on our Facebook page, and all of our social stuff is kind of scattered, and we're not, it's just posting all of the stuff that we're doing. It gets crazy. It's like a whole separate job, you know, for both of us. And so I said we need to get together and have a meeting and Rich just goes, "I'm available anytime as I'm on a social hiatus." And I'm just like, what does that mean?
He goes, "Are you okay?
I go,
do we need to talk?"
First I go, "Do you just mean dating?" And you go, "That too," smiley face. And so I'm like, "Okay, wait a minute. Are you all right? Like, do you want to talk about some shit
totally
or whatever?"
Fine.
And you're like, "I don't do depressed." And I'm like,
I don't.
And I go, "Well, I do. So if you want to talk about some stuff, let's get together." So I mean, but everything's fine. You're saying you just kind of
totally, yeah. No, I'm just focusing on stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of getting ahead on some work stuff and laundry and just, I was just like, well, I don't want to do social right now. I'm just going to gonna take care of business for a while. It's therapeutic to me, I guess.
Life is kind of crazy sometimes. I mean, Casey and I internally, we know what's going on, but we had kind of told a bunch of friends that we were going to get married in April, and
We forgot to get married.
That was our plan, and we really did. I mean, that was the plan, but just that month, for some reason, like the second half of March through the whole month of
It was
April,
a big old clusterfuck.
just beat the crap out of us. And I mean, social wise, not social wise, but I mean, personal wise,
Right.
work wise, and all of that stuff. I mean, it just got us. And then we kind of looked at each other at the end of the month and we were like, man, we are really glad we didn't do that, So,
Like get married during that month, not get married.
Right. We got it.
yeah. So, anywho, we, I just, what I'm saying is I sympathize with the fact that life can just beat the crap out of you sometimes. And if that's not the case here and you're just taking a sabbatical off from the social aspect of things. Because I worried when Brunch Club stopped, man. I was like, shit. Brunch Club was so
I'm still
important.
friends with everybody. We still talk and stuff.
But now that you
They
like,
still get drunk in his kitchen.
I mean,
Jared.
mimosa sales have fallen so bad in the Metroplex.
That's not
Fucking
true.
Crazy.
Biscuits and gravy.
Fucking crazy. They're gonna fucking notice in a couple of weeks. Though.
Yeah, they are.
No, that place actually fired all the waitresses that we like, and no one ever goes there anymore. And the cook was amazing. Fired him too, and we just quit going.
Yeah. Well, shit, Rich.
I know.
Casey, how are you, baby? Things are going good with you with work, and you're painting a lot, and things are just good, right?
Where's my pig?
Which one do you
There's
want?
5 of them down there.
No, he took them away from me.
No, I didn't.
Yes, she was. You were like, when I came over that night, you were like, pick out your pig. There's 6 of them, and I'm like, kick ass. And before I could even get, I want that one out of my mouth, you go, you know what, Casey? That should be an Andy Warhol in our house.
Which I've already said no to
she
100
said not to
times.
do that. So
Okay.
pick which one you want,
All right, cool.
and when you get down there.
Fair enough.
I will hand pick you a pig.
All right. I gotta get the color scheme right. But anyway,
I know the color scheme in your house. Everything is the same color.
what she said.
You got to get in there and do that.
I can
All
make
right.
you a custom pig that matches all your shit.
Oh, I'll take it.
There you go. Hey, listen, I'm just glad that we're all here together. It's a beautiful evening here at the daycare studio in Prosper, Texas, and I'm glad that we're talking about the movie Arthur and not the one from Russell Brand. Not that I have anything against Russell
The
Brand,
1981 Arthur, not the 2011.
but I have made it very clear that I fucking hate the idea of remaking classics, and especially classics from my childhood, which you will see as we talk through this. Literally, this is one of the movies that shaped the way I speak. There are so many of those. I say that all the time in this. It's crazy. Arthur, 1981. Arthur is a happy drunk with no pretensions at any ambition. Those are some big words in the first sentence.
This is a hellacious synopsis.
Okay,
It was like
here-
a paragraph.
Let me try this again. Jesus Christ. Okay, don't cut that though. Fuck it. Let's see. Let's let people hear how many times this takes me, and then fucking tell me I should start proofreading. Okay. Arthur is a happy drunk with no pretensions at any ambition. He is also the heir to a vast fortune, which he is told will be only. Which he is told. Fuck. He is also the heir to a vast fortune, which he is told will only be his if he marries Susan. He does not love Susan, but she will make something of him the family expects. She will make something of him if the family expects. Arthur proposes, but then meets a girl with no money who he can
is
easily
written-
fall in love with.
This is
That's
written
the
by some
fucking worst.
Joe Schmo. A professional did not write that.
There is no possible way.
No, there was actually 2 synopses. This was the first one. There was another one underneath it, and I just grabbed this one.
It's
I
so
didn't read
poorly
it.
written. It's impossible
It's
to
bad.
read. Like it's just because you
No one talks
because
like
the way that you read stuff and if you're doing the voice thing is you're guessing the next word. There's no way I could guess what the Arthur proposes, but then this is one sentence. Arthur proposes, but then meets a girl with no money who he could easily fall in love with. What?
It was bad. Agreed.
This movie stars Dudley Moore, who is the most amazing drunk person that has ever lived. I don't even know how anybody even plays drunk and doesn't just act like Dudley Moore.
So better than Cameron Diaz and Ashton Kutcher?
I think so.
Okay.
I think a little bit better. Liza Minnelli, who is Judy Garland's daughter, and who we'll get into. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about it now. I remember first seeing this movie, and this is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I remember I couldn't really figure out like, what the fuck does she look like? You know, like she almost.
Really?
I mean, I didn't understand it.
Spiky black hair.
No. I just mean like looking at her. To me, it just seemed really plastic and almost sort of.
Oh, you mean in this
porcelain.
movie, looking
in
at
this
her,
movie,
like
looking
what does
at
she
her,
look
like
like?
what the fuck is she? And she just does really, really stand out.
She's unique looking.
She was definitely unique looking, but in this, I guess for the first time watching it as a 44-year-old man, and probably not having seen this movie for at least 25 or 30 years, I found the endearing qualities in both her as a character in this, and you know, from a look standpoint. I still would pick Susan for sure, but you know, I don't know. What do you think? And why are you looking at me like that?
Because a volcano is about to erupt.
It's about to erupt right
Yes.
now. Oh my God, I'm so scared.
I remember loving this movie back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I am positive that I watched this on one of the Betamax tapes from my parents' hookup
From the key parties.
From the hookup and swap parties,
Yeah.
right? And I remember liking it. I had positive memories of the movie. I certainly hadn't seen it, but I've seen snippets here and there. I
Sure.
remember key pivotal moments from it and everything. But I didn't think this held up. I honestly thought that you would not think this movie held up.
Dude, I'm going to tell you this. I actually, not only did I think it held up, I was fucking proud of this movie. Like, I thought it held up so good. I didn't think that any of the jokes seemed old. It didn't seem put on. I mean, as far as like, none of it seemed forced. It felt like a really...
None of it seemed forced?
No, it
Okay.
didn't at all to me. Like,
Okay.
I mean, not any more than, for example, like every line's a one-liner. It didn't seem any more forced to me than fucking Deadpool did, and I thought that was great.
You
know?
made a comment on Facebook today that this movie was your Anchorman.
I think it could be where every single line is hilarious.
But the beauty of Anchorman,
With a small little interruption of story in the middle.
all these throwaway lines in Anchorman that are hysterical, that no one pays attention to, but every line that I think probably could be funny to me in this movie, he was laughing hysterically at himself.
Yeah.
And I think it ruined it for me. It
Oh,
was like,
God.
oh my God, stop laughing at your own jokes. And it's like cackle laugh.
I
It's
actually,
like,
I actually agree with you. I actually agree with you on the fact that the throwaway lines in Anchorman are the best, and that is also the best thing in this movie, which I will point out to you as we go through.
Please do.
The throwaway lines are the best, and I think the fucking laugh is infectious. I love his fucking laugh. That's why I asked you.
it was just a little too much for me.
The first scene is him coming through, and it's just like him laughing in the car and just being this just drunk playboy who is obviously we think is the happiest guy in the world, and through the movie you start to see that he is vulnerable, that he is, you know, he's lonely, and he doesn't have a lot of actual people who love him in his life. It's kind of sad if you put it out there that way, but you know what? It's delivered in a great way, and it comes across as being hilarious. Also in the cast, we have John Gielgud. He's been in movies since fucking 1922.
Yeah.
So fucking, you know, just
He's one of those actors you know has to be in the Bridge on the River Kwai or something.
He's
like
in fucking everything. I did sort of take a look back, and then I don't know, as you start to get into the movies, into like the 70s and even the 80s, I guess, it starts to get confusing as to like, because he was in the Elephant Man, but he wasn't in like the real Elephant Man, but he wasn't in the remake of the Elephant. I mean, I don't know. How many fucking Elephant Men are there? There's a bunch of them. Another one is that, and I didn't know if you knew this, is Susan was played by Jill Eikenberry, and I didn't really know that I knew her from anything after
Oh, really?
that.
LA
But
Law.
She was in LA Law, yeah. And
she has a thing for short guys because she was married to a short guy in that show too.
is that true?
Yeah.
All right. So that song, Christopher Cross, was just supposed to be this huge fucking star, supposed to be just enormous, and he had hits, and he was not the best looking guy in the world.
No.
He was a little chubby.
Yeah.
He had curly hair.
I never knew what he looked like until
receding
recently.
hairline a little bit, and then fucking video really did kill the radio star.
Yeah.
It really did happen. His career was going completely fucking crazy. And
He
then-
was huge when I was a kid. I
and
remember
video
him.
happened.
I remember his name. I
But do you
remember all the songs, the
Remember
voice.
his album cover? He wasn't on there. It was like a fucking ocean or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And but you know, it is true. That
Did we move past that? Because no one really cares about that anymore.
move past what?
Like he could look like that today
Now.
and be a huge star.
You know, I think it just kind of switched kinds of music because now the country you have to be a fucking something that looked at it like it walked out of a magazine. And the 80s it wasn't like that, you know. And in the 80s, 90s or whatever, it was definitely all about the look. Now, you didn't necessarily have to be attractive. I don't really think he had much going for him, but you know, hey, he had a couple of fucking hits, and I'm sure he's doing good.
Superficial of you.
For me,
I think he's gorgeous.
oh sure, absolutely. You know what? I'm not fucking giving my opinion. I'm not a breast implants guy. I don't care. You get the fucking Christopher, get the hair plugs, lose some weight. I don't fucking care.
Sorry,
Listen,
Case.
I'm a fucking fat guy. You know what am I gonna do?
You're out.
I'm out.
Yeah. This movie was remade in 2011, starring Russell Brand, and
Yes.
you can't stand the Russell Brand movie only because it's a remake, not because of anything else.
I haven't watched it. I just don't. I don't think that's not overtly that funny. That was a very fucking
because you've
snidey
been
laugh.
that's your example.
no,
this is your big example.
No.
I hate remakes,
Actually-
and you use Arthur as your example. You've done that a
I
couple
think he
times
said
in
he
our
hates
podcast.
the idea of remakes of classics.
Yeah, you're misquoting me unbelievably because
No, you have absolutely brought up the fact that you hate remakes and you use Arthur as an example.
actually, I might have used it as an example because I fucking hate the idea of it, but I hate the remake of Red Dawn. I hate the remake of Annie. I even hate the remake of Annie. I mean, I don't fucking like remakes. I don't like them. And you know what? I mean, I feel like, hey, and you know what? I owe a little bit to some remakes. Freaky Friday, I had a song in there. They even talked about my band in the movie. Fucking A, whatever. I actually thought that was really good. It's just for me, and this is just a personal thing. It's movies that I grew up on that it just feels really super cheap that Hollywood can't come up with new ideas. I mean, it's just all remakes.
So they're thinking about redoing Al Pacino's Scarface now.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a good idea?
I don't. No, I mean, I don't.
Well,
have
They're
any
redoing
interest
Rocky
in
Horror
that at all.
Is
Picture
that
Show.
because you think that Al Pacino's Scarface should just be it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, Al Pacino's Scarface is a remake.
Right, but it's not a remake from. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying these movies that I grew up on. This is my personal preference.
That are made the classics. I think is
These are my classic movies to me personally. I
So
hate
you're
remakes.
not
I'm
telling
not like
Hallie.
you. I don't say I hate something and then didn't assume that everybody else thinks it sucks. I just fucking hate it. You fucking hate Apple,
You're
but
saying-
it's for silly reasons. I fucking hate remakes.
So
because
you're not saying they shouldn't make remakes. You're just saying I am personally not going to go see them when they do the remake.
That's definitely correct, but I just feel like it just feels intrusive to me too. That these are really important movies to me, and I fucking hate.
But how does that take away
remade.
from the? Why does that take away from it?
I think it takes away from it quite a bit, actually, just because again,
So
it's not the same.
Your Arthur is now diminished because of Russell Brand's.
Oh,
Arthur?
I don't think my Arthur is diminished at all. In
Okay, then
fact, I
what's-
think it's fucking.
I'm missing your
there's-
point,
I'm
then.
not. I think you're trying to make me make a bigger point than I am. I'm not trying to make a big point here.
Every time with the remakes come
Yep,
up,
don't
you
like
say
them.
hate them, but they shouldn't be done.
And that's it. It doesn't. It's really that's the end of the conversation. It
But
doesn't
see,
need to be a
I
big, huge
think-
debate.
Well, I mean,
It's not something that I want to fight over for fucking for days or something like that. I just don't like remakes. I don't like them.
Okay, I just think. Well,
I would think it's
I
like
don't
the equivalent
understand
of like you read a book and then you get all these characters in your head the way that you think, and then you see the movie and you're like, wow, I don't like them as those characters. I like them as the characters that I had originally in my head. Like maybe that
Right,
kind
which
of feeling.
people do all the time. It's
Yeah,
like, I
I've
like
done
the
that
book
multiple
better,
times.
and I get it.
I just think remakes are important.
Mm.
I actually am pro remake now that I've actually thought, because when you first brought it up, I was like, yeah, I didn't really like Red Dawn, and I was thinking that maybe Arthur was the original Arthur was better.
They're remaking Rocky Horror right now, and I think that's a little weird.
Now, I actually thought that the remake of Charlie and Chocolate Factory was okay. I mean, there were certain aspects that I liked.
But they didn't
of it.
remake it
do you
because
mean?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory are two different things. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is one version. If you actually read the book, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the actual book that it's based off of, that's what the movie more portrays with like the creepy island Oompa Loompas and him saving them from slavery and this whole thing. So that's actually two unrelated situations.
Well, there are two different interpretations of the same book, though.
The original movie is nothing like the book at all.
Well, but it definitely has the same characters.
Yeah, there's a chocolate factory.
Yeah, I
That's
think
like-
they made it a little
but
bit.
they have the tickets, and they go in there, and they get lost, and and finally there's one kid left.
Yeah, but I feel like they just kind of focus more on that story and the other one.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I just kind of separate them in my head.
okay. But I think that remakes are important, and here's why. When your kids get to an age where they can watch a movie like Arthur,
Yes.
they watch the 1981 version of Arthur, they're not going to like it.
My niece, who is 12 years old,
Okay, one person will like
saw
it.
that movie. I'm just saying.
I think that's silly. That's a silly comeback to that fucking
What?
statement right
No,
there.
I'm
That's
serious.
a silly fucking
I'm
comeback
not saying
to that statement.
one person. I'm just saying. I do have my niece is 12. She saw the movie. She thinks it's hilarious.
Okay, but
So I do think that there is a way. My mom raised me on lots of movies that were before my time. So I don't think that's necessarily like.
so what you're saying is
Well,
you
let's
think
get to.
that
Let's
people.
And I'm
get
not
to.
even
Hold on,
sitting
hold
on
on,
a
hold on, hold
side
on.
here.
Let's not get bogged down here. I've said what I want to say. You say what you want to say. What is your point here, so that we can actually talk about the movie?
Kids today,
Yeah.
when they go see a movie, they could go watch a 1981 movie. They're not going to connect with it like they would a movie that was created today with the actors that they care about,
Yeah.
with the technology and the social happenings that are going on today.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to connect more with the story that you love,
Yeah.
with those actors and social everything that's going on in their world at that time. And so therefore they would never see Arthur as far as the story. They would never hear about the story about Arthur and that whole story
Right.
if they didn't have a reason to, and that reason would be, again,
Yeah, or their parents or whatever. I honestly don't disagree with that.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I think that's a valid point, and
So-
it's. I
then
think
we can put this to rest. You don't personally like remakes, but you don't think that they shouldn't happen or
I think
anything.
there are remakes that I do like, and there are remakes that I don't. Again, I
Of
think
course,
that, I
not
think
all
this.
remakes are
I
good,
think this, but what I'm saying is that this is a personal thing for me. This is not. It's not a cause. I'm not going to fucking tell Hollywood not to make remakes. I can say that I don't personally like them, and for those, the ones that I'm talking about are the ones that are near and dear to me. So they're talking about remaking Drop Dead Fred. And I fucking do not want them to remake Drop Dead Fred.
Never
It's
seen
a
it.
really important
Love
movie
Drop
to
Dead
me.
Fred.
And the same is true. So, and it's going to, at some point, they're going to try to remake Smokey and the Bandit, and they're going to try to remake Hooper, and they're going to try to remake this. And
Didn't they think that they're going to try to make Russell Brand Drop Dead Fred too?
I think so, yeah. I think that's a thing. So that poor guy. But anyway, I actually think Russell Brand is really funny. So I don't want that to come across as me being a Russell Brand hater, because I'm definitely not. Again, it's a personal thing with me. I think it'll happen with my kids too.
It
I think
still feels like you're saying, it's okay, but I hate it. Don't do it.
I don't understand how my point could be any more fucking
You're like,
straightforward.
this is just a personal thing, but I don't think they should do it.
I feel like this is a very long banter where y'all are both saying the exact same thing. Where he's saying,
So I watched the Russell Brand version today as well, because I was like, I think I remember not liking that very much. It actually is a really good movie, and comparatively, I think it's better. I don't think Russell Brand is better than Dudley Moore. I don't really think Russell Brand is even funny that much.
I
don't
could
really
see
like him
while
as
I
a
was
comic.
watching this movie, because I thought about it, because I actually never saw the Russell Brand version, but being a fan of Russell Brand's movies and just his comedy, and well, not necessarily a stand-up comedy, that sucks, but the other stuff, but just his humor in general, I could see how he could portray this character very well, and
It was okay. It wasn't. He wasn't amazing, but he's certainly solid. It was a decent performance. But Helen Mirren as Hobbs, oh my god, she killed it. And
Yeah.
Jennifer Garner as the wife, the
Susan.
rich wife, Susan. Oh my god, she killed it. And
Right.
it was a lot of her. She was in it a lot. And she was a lot more forceful, and she was kind of a sex crazed kind of girl.
Also, I think you have to keep in mind
Nick Nolte.
in just to your point, then you have to think this movie was also made 35 years ago.
Yes.
A very big difference. And this is what I'm
Huge.
saying.
Yeah,
so
35 years
definitely
ago,
the way
I can see why it was so good. I can.
Yeah, no. I just mean the
prism.
I mean the characters themselves. They would obviously be changed. A rich girl getting married off would act a completely different way 35 years ago than she would now. You know, and probably have different education and all of those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think I definitely see your point for sure. And I don't disagree. Just please God, don't fucking let him remake Drop Dead Fred. The fucking scene, it opens up and he's fucking, the car's driving up and he's just laughing his ass off and he fucking pulls up to the girls and he just goes, she's just like, I don't even remember how she greets him. She says, you can I help you? Something like that. I don't think prostitutes say, can I help you?
Probably not.
What did she say? Like,
what can I do for you?
What can I do for you maybe? Or something. And he just goes, what I had in mind was spending the night with a stranger who loves me. And she's like, it's going to cost you $100. And he goes, oh yeah, what time do you get off? And he does that fucking laugh. And it's so fucking good. And then she gets in the car and he tells Bitterman, he goes, hey, give her $100. She came in second. That's fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. And this just keeps me fucking laughing the whole time. And then another line that I love is, it's the first part of the movie. He tells Bitterman, go through the park. You know how I love the park. And then that will wrap around and be something that we see.
That was a cute line.
Towards the end. I really, really love it. And then and then he goes, and then as they're driving, he tells him to go to the plaza or whatever. And he just looks over and he goes, don't you wish you were me? I know I do. That's fucking unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then he falls out of the car in front of the hotel and it's just nonstop laughs. And even when he says, please get my drink, he goes, hey, please get my drink. We're going to a bar. Fuck. That's fucking hilarious. Love it. I love all of the fucking, just the one-liners on this one. It reads really, really funny to me still. I had a ball watching it. So let's dive into
I hate pissing on your parade. I just didn't.
You're not pissing on my parade. Honestly, to be honest, I really honestly just wish you were a little bit more receptive in hearing what somebody would say instead of just completely like having some predisposed idea of what it is I wanted to say, because I felt like my point was really fucking
remakes?
clear. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that personally, we're not going back to remakes. Let's hear a clip.
That's the only thing that we were talking about.
I loved this movie.
Great.
That wasn't an argument to you. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying great.
No. I did. I'm just throwing my opinion out there.
Everyone stop being defensive.
Nobody's being defensive, actually. I think you are.
I'm just doing my part before the clip. I don't know. I thought I'd throw it out there. I like this movie a lot. I thought it was funny. I actually got to watch this in complete silence with nobody in the house, which has happened never, and including Jaret. I actually focus better when he's not around because I don't have anybody to ask questions to the whole time. So I'm like not watching the screen.
You can't talk to.
But
I want to talk to you.
I don't know. I thought it was really funny. I really enjoyed it.
They recently had the whole country carpeted. This is not a big place.
We understand that it's small, Arthur, and we also understand that you are very drunk. So why don't we meet again when you're sober?
Yeah, all right, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't help it.
Grow up, Arthur. You'd make a fine adult.
Yeah, it's easy for you to say. You haven't got 50 pairs of short pants hanging in your closet.
So I wanted to get that whole thing, but it was just so long.
There's 4 or 5 of them. The other one that's great is he has just introduced this hooker to his aunt and uncle as a princess
of a small
country.
country.
And he just goes, it's terribly small, tiny little country. Rhode Island could beat the crap out of it in a war. That's how small it is. So fucking
My
good.
favorite was they just carpeted.
They just recently carpeted the whole country. And then they sit down and I don't know, this whole fucking first like 10-15 minutes to me is I was crying with laughter. And again, just everything that the guy says and just the reactions to him when that, people, first of all, it seems like he's causing a fuss and then people realize who it is and they straighten up. It's almost like he has this power no matter what, just because he's, worth $1 billion, I guess. But they sit at the table and he just goes, you're the only woman at this table.
Tell me about yourself.
You mean why I'm a hooker?
Are you a hooker? Jesus, I forgot. I just thought I was doing great with you. Okay. Why are you a hooker?
My mother died when I was 6.
Son of a bitch! What? Don't they know what they do to kids?
My father raped me when I was 12.
So you had 6 relatively good years?
You know, it's hard to make those jokes funny. We've talked about that before. You know, hard to make those ones funny. Oh man! But you know, in this, she asks about him, and obviously you're first being exposed to him as a character, and at this point, he's just been doing the laugh that got on your nerves. And I could understand that if you don't think that the laugh is funny, how it would get on your nerves after a while, because it's the whole fucking movie.
It was just so much of it. That's all. It was just it was the quantity.
And I don't disagree. I think that's part of the whole punchline, though. It's like, it's this defense mechanism. Because when he stops doing it later in the movie, when he's talking to Susan's dad, then there's this odd vulnerability to him, which I feel like that crutch of that laugh is gone. You know what I mean?
I know for a fact in 1981, this is funny. This everything that's being done is hysterical, and it's just that it's that 1981 sensibility of what's going on, and what people have done this to death.
Right,
everything that he's done in here, I've seen a million times, and I'm just sort of desensitized to it, and I'm like, yeah, okay, this is like old stuff.
You know, one of the things about remakes, though, is this, and this is one interesting, you know, sort of concept for me too, and I do think about this, is a lot of times people will remake a movie, but they just do a completely different story, but it's the same thing. So, for example, I mentioned Freaky Friday. Dudley Moore was in a movie with Kirk Cameron back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Where
great movie. I loved it.
They Freaky Friday'd.
Yeah, it was called,
the son became him and he became the son or whatever. And then the same thing happened, though.
Vice versa.
Same thing happened. No, but wasn't that Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage?
No, Vice versa was Kirk Cameron.
Okay, but Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage did the same thing. So, again, I think... And I thought all of those movies were good, and maybe that's kind of part of it. Maybe I wish that that the story could be told in kind of a different way, but you know, fucking leave the name of the movie alone. I don't know, fucking
just the name. So if they just called it a different name, anyway.
So what I thought about here was, and again, you know how we talk about how you notice things differently as you get a little older, and when she asks about him, it's the first time you actually see him. You know, like you see
start
sort of
to be
like
a little serious.
There's some pain in his face.
Right.
He's
loneliness.
He's a lonely dude, and obviously, you know, you just heard how his family treats him. You know, grow up, and I don't blame him. I mean, he's a babbling idiot, and you know, and and that's the other thing is, in fucking 1981, you may have been able to get away with this, but I'm not sure you could really walk into a place in this condition now.
No.
You know, and you definitely wouldn't be fucking driving a car.
Yeah, that was.
that
stood out big time
Yeah.
to me. Every time he's driving and like blatantly just drinking. There's a scene.
Really, only the one scene, but yeah, I mean, and again, not that makes it. I mean, but yeah, he was full on like bottle of scotch.
He has a chauffeur.
Yeah,
I think it's interesting because while she's sitting across from at the table, there's like a point where like. Actually, I think it started in the car where I think she can kind of immediately realize, and probably having some, you know, people skills that maybe not a lot of people have, that at some point I think she realizes that he's not a bad dude. And during the dinner, she kind of even seems like amused by him, you know?
Yeah.
Where anybody else.
You talking Susan or you talking.
No.
You're
The
talking
hooker.
The hooker.
Yeah, the hooker.
How about those red pants though? Right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're staying in the same scene. Sorry, I got off a little bit. Of course, the hooker.
She's sitting there, and you can just kind of see, like, as he's going on these tangents, and you know, picking up the phone, and you know, and she kind of is amused and thinks it's funny, and you can tell even in the morning that she kind of thinks he's interesting, even though he's clearly hammered.
And I'm sure, though, waking up in that room with that huge train set as your alarm clock, you're thinking to yourself, I could get used to this.
I've taken the liberty of anticipating your condition. And I brought you orange juice, coffee, and aspirins. Or do you need to throw up?
No. Gloria, I would like you to meet Hobson.
Gloria, that's her name.
Gloria.
And he's just like,
She looks a lot better now than she did then.
I didn't look her up.
Yeah. She looks much better now.
I fucking love though that Hobson comes in and he's just like, and he's like, this is a robe. Please put it on. Say goodbye to Arthur. and just like,
I love his cut downs for sure.
Oh man, he's just.
Did you ever have a train set?
My brother did. My brother had like it's the smaller kind, not like the big one. And then when I had the toy store, I had one of those big trains that ran like around the ceiling and stuff.
Right.
But never as a kid.
I got a train set for Christmas. My dad got it for me. He put it all together and we did it. It was at my grandmother's house. And we played with it for like a little while. Never saw it again.
Never saw it again.
Never saw it again.
I mean,
ever.
did you like put it on a piece of wood and like glue the trees down and shit?
No, I mean, we didn't have a house that big when I was growing up to have a dedicated train room or anything. But no, we did it at my grandmother's dining room, and that was in Atlanta. And then we went back to Louisiana. Never saw it again.
I still think about stuff like that all the time. Like slot car race tracks that I had.
Oh,
Like,
I
where
did
the fuck
those
is
all
that?
the time.
I have like, there's a couple of Quiet Riot shirts I'm missing. Like, where the fuck would those have gone? You know, like I'm sure my mom fucking threw them away and didn't tell me.
Do you know what I'm going to do?
No, I don't.
I'm going to take a bath.
I'll alert the media.
Do you want to run my bath for me?
It's what I live for. Perhaps you'd like me to come in there and wash your dick for you. You little shit.
And number one of my most said lines ever is, and actually there's a couple of them in here, but I fucking used to repeat this all the time. And me and Chris still say this to each other. Like if one of us is going in to take a shower in the dressing room, the other will be like, would you like me to come in there and wash your dick for you too, you little shit? But I fucking say alert the media all the time. All the time. I tweet it, like I'll be like, I'm gonna take a shower, alert the media. Like I fucking love it so much, man. And I love that he's just sitting on a throne, you know, like
just reading the paper.
Yeah, just reading the paper, and then he's just standing right next to him. But
don't you feel like, okay, the door's closed and he under his breath says, you little shit.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he loves him at this. I don't feel like how I'm expected to feel like he loves this guy at this point. It like does a big 180 in the middle where you go, oh, and it was like I was like, oh, I'm supposed to think he loves him. It was really weird.
Well,
like I just didn't get that because of this little shit line. Why would he say that if he really does love him?
Well, because you can love a little shit.
I know, but
and that's just it. I think that I think you could definitely say, but I think at this point in the movie, it's too
there was
early to
so
reveal
much
it.
contempt in the line that he said.
It's
was like,
too early to
it's
reveal
like he didn't
it.
read the script later on.
And also, there's a
something.
lot of English. There's a lot of English to him too, which there's like a dry and sarcastic tone to the way that English people speak to one another anyway. And so I just feel like a lot of times love isn't necessarily, overtly just put out there in this relationship. But again, I feel like it's just a thing where it's supposed to be that there's supposed to be a payoff later, as we get into the movie, you'll see that he really does not only love him, but cares about what happens to him in his life.
Did I tell you I was actually considering getting a butler? Did I mention that to you?
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
No.
I was actually going to do that. So after
like a live-in.
After the divorce, I was going to. I had a friend of mine who was down on his luck, and I was just going to offer him to be my butler so that he could live in my house for free. But you have to be my butler. And really, all that is like when I tell you to pull the car around, you got to go out and pull the car.
That's
around.
it, huh?
That's
He
it.
just lives there for free.
How awesome is that?
He wouldn't have to like do laundry.
I'd
or
be like,
anything
Eric,
like
pull
that,
the car around.
It's not like a fucking maid butler.
No.
Because what do butlers do? Doesn't a butler
pull the car around?
Well, no, they're like they answer the door, but they're kind of like in
that's the
charge.
chauffeur. Yeah.
They don't wash your
still.
dick though.
No.
They
Apparently
made that
not.
clear in here.
Yeah, apparently not.
We found out in England that you can actually, if you have like your American card, you can take like 4 people per person
Yeah.
into the Admirals Club to like hang out until your flight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, we went in there, and then maybe like 30 minutes later, Derek and Tony walked in, and Tony was carrying all of Derek's bags.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah. They were hammered.
Oh, hammered, totally airport hammered. And they had made an agreement that Derek would pay for Tony to get in there, but he had to be his butler for the rest of the airport thing and like grab his bags and
Carried
follow him
his
around.
bags all the way to the plane. 35 gates.
Yeah, we technically could have just got him in there, but it's still pretty.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, my uncle died, and my parents went to do all the arrangements and stuff, and left me at my house for like a week. But I had to fly out there and go to the funeral with them. So of course I had parties the entire time. I got so hammered the day I was supposed to fly. My friends brought me to the airport, and I couldn't function. Like, they just dropped me off. They put me in a chair. They told the stewardess lady if she could assist me on the plane because I was retarded.
No
She had to
way.
help me on the plane.
Yeah, because back then they could walk you to the gate, right?
Right.
Yeah. Wow.
I know. It
That's
was bad. I was
crazy.
out. I mean, I was just like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and then you woke up and you were fine.
And I think I may have sobered up halfway through the flight or something, that I was functional. So I could get off the plane fine. But yeah, it was bad.
So they go to meet with Arthur's father. Obviously, he's not looking forward to it. And there is an exchange between Hobson and a businessman. Did you recognize the businessman?
Yeah, I expected him to be a big player in the movie.
No,
and that's the only scene.
Yeah, so it's Paul Gleason who played the teacher Richard Vernon in The Breakfast Club.
Right.
So it's but a good cameo nonetheless. He's just like, he gets all that money, pays his family back by being a stinking drunk. It's enough to make you sick. And Hobson's like, I really wouldn't know, sir. I'm a servant. And he's like, yeah. And then Hobson just goes, on the other hand, go screw yourself.
That's where you realize that he likes him.
Yeah. So at that point, hey, that's a good. You know what? That's a pretty good point. So it's a turn, pretty quick turn in that, like,
I can
it's
talk
kinda
about
like,
my mom, but you can't.
Yeah. It's like, that's a great one. Or like my band guys. Like, you can say anything you want about me.
I just thought he hated everybody.
I can fucking say shit about my band, but you can't fucking say anything about them because I
Right.
fucking take that shit personal.
I'm not going to marry her. I've told you that 1,000 times.
Fine. If that's your decision, Arthur, the family has no choice. I'm sorry, Arthur. Very sorry. But as of this moment, you are cut off.
You mean cut off from you and grandmother and the family? So you mean cut off from you don't mean cut off from
The money, Arthur.
I get married when I fall in love with somebody.
Fine. I respect your integrity. You've just lost $750 million.
Actually, Susan is a very nice girl.
Very nice. And she'll make a wonderful wife.
Yes, wonderful.
A powerful scene of, again, he's sober. You see that he obviously doesn't want to marry Susan. And he doesn't want to marry Susan before Liza Minnelli. And obviously,
Would
she
you
throws-
marry someone you didn't love for $750 million? Let's pretend Casey was never born.
Mm-hmm.
She is not on the planet for you to even find.
Right.
Would you then marry someone for $750 million? Which in today's money, that's like $1.5 billion easy.
Yeah, I mean, I think...
Was that a yes?
I think anybody would. Yeah, sure. I mean,
yeah,
and
you
especially
would.
her. I mean, she actually loved him.
Right.
She's just like totally going to just let him do whatever the fuck you want. She tells him, you don't have to call me. I
I'd
don't
have married
care.
Jennifer Garner in a
You know,
heartbeat,
yeah,
too, by the way.
right. But that's the thing is like,
Shit.
I don't know. And I think obviously they'd been seeing one another and already. And, to me, that's an easy fucking thing. Like,
Easy.
I don't really even feel like it's a,
You find love. You'll find it. Just hang out
Yeah,
with each other. You'll
that's
find
just it. You know,
commonalities.
What was the divorce clause?
What's his money? I mean,
yeah,
what does he care?
but she's got her own money, so I'm sure that all they're trying to do is combine the families. It's some Game
Right.
of Thrones shit, man.
Right, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what it is. So he's Ramsay, and
Gotta hope not.
She stole that tie. It's a perfect crime. Girls don't wear ties. Although some do, it's not a perfect crime, but it's a good crime.
Yes, if she murdered the ties, it'd be a perfect crime.
I thought this was funny.
yeah,
That was funny.
totally funny. And
That line was good.
I love how inconspicuous her outfit is here. She's
Yeah,
wearing
what is a crime? A red cowboy hat and a yellow jacket.
yellow
That's a
raincoat with striped shirts.
Is
None
that
of
the
them
same
matching.
outfit as the girl cowboy on Toy Story?
Close. The girl cowboy on Toy Story actually wears a vest, but you're close with the hat and the
Is it
and the
not
striped
yellow?
shirt. A lot of this scene was tough because it was definitely just the way that she was confronted out on the street and all of that is a little bit.
Why would he
wacky.
let her leave if he's actually going to stop her? Why wouldn't you stop her at the door?
At the door? Yeah, that is one thing.
Excuse me, ma'am. Before you leave, I need to check your purse.
Right. Well, there is a thing, and I think that's still a thing. You have to actually leave the. Maybe it's not anymore. I know back when I was a kid, I did like commercials for Shoplifter. What was it called? Not Shop. What's the Crime Stoppers?
Crime Stoppers.
So I used to act in those Crime Stoppers things, and the thing is that they could see you put the thing in your pants on the camera, but if you didn't try to leave the store, you could say,
I'm just carrying it around in my pants.
Carrying it around in my pants. And so maybe that's not a thing as much anymore.
I got stopped in a store one time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I always got stopped all the time.
What'd you take?
I took nothing. I got profiled for wearing
you
lots
took
of
something.
black. I didn't.
Nah, I think
My mom got like some 16-year-old kid fired from Spencer's Gifts after that.
Did you
sound so unlike
Did
your
you
mom.
start some shit?
I did start some shit.
Yeah.
Only because there were clearly other young teenagers in there throwing shit in their bags.
Right.
And I walked towards the door, and this like it's just funny because when you're at the mall and you're younger, they're just kids, that are working there. So he's like, "Ma'am, I need to look in your bag," and I was like, "No," and he was like, "I need to look in your bag," and clearly he has no idea what to do because I said no. Okay, well, I think that you put something in there, so I need to look before you leave. And I was like, no, you don't.
Why don't you just let him look in the bag?
I was proving a point. I was really mad.
Just the guy's doing a job. He made a mistake. Just let him look in your bag.
No, it made me really. Plus I was like 13.
I don't know if I agree with that either.
No, I was like 13 or 14 and probably an asshole, but it just irritated me because I didn't do
would
anything.
have immediately opened bag. Oh, nothing. I got nothing in here. Go ahead and look. I don't want you.
Well,
to
he
think
clearly
I'm
wouldn't have believed me
breaking the law.
anyway.
I don't feel like you would have.
I absolutely would.
I did not
am
need some
very-
16-year-old kid freaking digging through my purse looking for keychains with dicks on it because that's what they sold at Spencer's.
If I'm not drunk and a police officer asks me to do something, I fucking do it. I'm just like, what? Oh yeah.
A police officer.
A police
is one
officer's
thing.
different.
It's still a law. It's still a
No.
No, it's a 16-year-old douchebag at a Spencer's Gifts in the mall.
To me, that's all the same.
So then
Yeah, no,
the security guard came over.
Okay, and at that point, get a fucking security guard. Get a security guard or whatever.
And I told him no.
Oh, okay.
And then he got a police officer over, and I opened my bag, and he said, "Okay, ma'am, go about your business." And I
Yeah.
said, "Thank you," and I left.
I don't really see anything wrong with any of that.
No,
There's
it
nothing
bothered
wrong
me. I
with
didn't.
it. It's
I
just like,
didn't
oh my
do
god,
First of all,
we just spent 20 minutes. You could have just opened your bag and left.
No, what's
but
awkward is
some
when
plain
you're in
clothes
a-
guy comes up to you and says he could be anybody. He just says, "Open your bag. Let me see in it." No.
No, I just
Why?
wasn't gonna let some 16-year-old kid look through my shit.
Oh,
I remember that.
if he wasn't wearing like some kind of a uniform, I'd be like,
No, he had
I
probably
don't
had a
know who the fuck
keychain
you
on
are.
with a
Wait,
lanyard with a
he had
dick
a
on it.
keychain? Then
That's what I'm
See,
saying.
that
like-
changes everything. You didn't say that, babe. I'm sorry.
No, it's just ridiculous.
So I worked with a guy who was a manager at Old Navy, and Old Navy, and this is no bull. This is honest to God truth. Old Navy's policy was just to let you steal the clothes because they were afraid of lawsuits.
I think I heard that back in the day.
Yeah,
And
not even back in the, this was not even, well, okay, maybe it was 10 years
I
ago.
don't mean back, and I honestly, I didn't mean
10
like
years
back in the
ago.
day. I mean like back in
I
the
feel like I
since
heard
Old
that
Navy's
too.
been like a huge thing,
Right.
you know. I mean, but yeah, that
if you get out of the store with clothes, they're yours. They're not going to do a thing.
and they almost, yeah. I mean, and I remember that being a thing too, where it's just not worth the overhead to carry the to carry the extra security to try to
Right.
stop everybody. It's just like
and then lawsuits.
yeah, all that shit. So
That's crazy,
If you're
though.
listening to this and you enjoy Old Navy's clothes. Actually, I think Liza Minnelli is great in this scene. I really do. I actually thought it was that
You need to look at her because she's the one that is on. I can't stand her. She
Who?
drives me.
Casey?
Not
Yeah,
Casey.
that was super
I
mean.
can't stand
Well, I'm
Liza
looking at you
Minnelli.
because that's what
You
we
know I
do.
love
You
Casey,
just said,
don't
"Look
even-
at her. I can't stand her."
I'm
Yeah,
saying,
you did say
I'm
that.
saying when you're saying that, look at her for some.
Now, I don't care if you
yeah.
like the movie.
No.
Okay, Rich, listen. We've established that you don't like the movie. Now, be a
The movie wasn't awful. It wasn't awful.
Hold on.
Why are we all yelling?
better than Revenge
Now,
of the Nerds.
be a fucking podcaster and fucking get through the show. Fuck you. Everybody
No.
knows your opinion.
No, I'm
keep-
gonna tell
honestly,
you what. No, I'm gonna tell you what I think of Liza
You're
Minnelli.
continually going back to the well,
No,
and
I'm
it's
not.
fucking
We were talking about
boring.
remakes. We're not talking about
Boring.
remakes. We're talking about.
Everybody
I didn't
knows you-
hate the
In
movie.
fact, I mean, should I just finish
didn't
the
think
show
it
by
was
myself?
good.
I'll just
I
finish the
didn't
show
think
by
it was good. Liza Minnelli is not a good actress.
But okay, I don't think so either. I thought
Okay.
she was good in this particular scene. I thought it was very good with the back and forth with.
If you would
with
just
she has
let me finish my
she has
sentence, you would
four
have known
different.
that that's all I was saying.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
I don't think she's a good actress.
That is not all you were saying. You started that thing with "Look at her, don't look at me." I hated this movie. You want to fucking hear it back? I'll play it back for you right now.
I didn't say I hated the movie.
I'm
exactly
going to
what you
bed. Y'all are the worst.
I said the movie
Everybody
wasn't
needs
terrible.
to take a lap.
There were definitely redeeming qualities throughout the movie.
We don't need to talk about the
This is
synopsis
not
of the
one
movie
of them.
anymore.
This is not one of them.
Jesus
She
Christ.
is terrible in this movie.
You need to learn how to do a whole podcast without saying the same thing over and over again. Once you
haven't
learn
said
that, maybe we'll
anything
get some.
about her
Maybe we'll
until
get some
just
fucking
now.
listeners.
I haven't.
Maybe. I mean, it might happen. You never know. Play along a little bit, and let's fucking see if some people start listening to the show.
She's terrible.
I thought she was really good in this. I actually didn't like her in the movie at all either. I thought she was really good in this scene because I thought it was interesting how she was having to go back and forth between the security guard, so the public around her. Arthur's there, and she's got that dialogue with him. She's got the dialogue then with Hobson as well, and then just the walking away. I really did enjoy her in this. I thought it was an interesting sort of defense to.
Would you have preferred Carrie Fisher in the role?
No, I don't think. I don't think I would have actually. I think partially. Is there somebody else too?
I have a whole list. Yeah,
Okay.
Mia Farrow.
No.
Farrah Fawcett, Goldie Hawn.
No. See, I think that makes it. And
I
maybe
could see Goldie Hawn.
to me,
Diane Keaton.
okay.
Ugh, no.
Here was one of the things. This is maybe like one of the things I guess that made it interesting to me is what I didn't feel like she was some knockout gorgeous lady because obviously she's unique, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the way Liza Minnelli looks. Obviously, she has amazing eyes, and then okay, but she's not. I definitely did not find her attractive in 1981 for sure.
No.
I think everybody except Mia Farrow that you just mentioned, I would have, and then it would have just been like I almost feel like there would have been a more of a physical attraction. And I guess that's what it is, though. Anyway, I don't know. For me personally, watching the movie, it's and him being just more attracted to her as a person.
I think they made her a little bit more unconventional because it kind of made it more interesting. That clearly, he had this, stereotypical, beautiful, rich woman that loved him, and he picks her, who's just interesting and funny, and she is more unconventionally pretty, even though that's not a.
I think
right
they picked
term.
her because of her name, and that's it. And I don't think she was cast well. I don't think this was a good casting for her. And just making the comparison, and I'm sorry, but in the remake, they had sort of a no-name actress and she was very sweet and sincere. She wasn't overly pretty at all, but she was kind of cute girl next door. Mm-hmm. And so you got that, what you were saying, I needed for him to fall in love with her personality, and you kind of got that from this one. And I was like, oh God, how can you? I just couldn't stand her as a person in the film, and I'm like, how is he falling for this girl? Yes, she's quirky,
He's also
okay,
crazy
but
and quirky and drunk and
isn't
ridiculous.
that partially the point, though? Aren't we supposed to not? Aren't we supposed to all be going, dude? Susan's pretty. Take the money. Like, isn't that part of it? Isn't it like we're not supposed to really understand how much they love each other until it just all falls apart and they're ready to go give it all up for tuna fish sandwiches?
I would have rather have had like a mousy Audrey Hepburn type person, quirky, as opposed to just hard.
I definitely wouldn't want Diane Keaton.
Street hard New York. Hardness.
Well, I think just opposite. She's supposed to be a nobody. And again, I don't think you can really argue with the casting much. It was a pretty fucking successful movie. And I believe probably more successful than the remake.
Just point to
if
the
I'm
wall.
just fucking, hitting it out of the park real quick.
688-5549. Don't expect big things on the first day.
Yes, it's been a distinct pleasure meeting you. Arthur, we really must be going. Thank you for a memorable afternoon. Usually one must go to a bowling alley to meet a woman of your stature.
That was my favorite line in the movie.
But his whole bit there is so fucking great. He's just like, he's like telling Arthur, he's like, we really have to go. He's like, I see no reason to continue this conversation unless you're planning to knock off a fruit stand later. Yeah. And then he looks at her and he's like, good luck in prison.
Right. That his stuff right there was great.
He's amazing through the whole thing. And then, he asks her out and she's just like, what should I wear? And Hobson just goes, steal something casual. He's just murdering the whole time. It's
that was funny. I liked all that.
It's almost like when drunk Dudley Moore isn't carrying the movie, Hobson is right there with the one-liners, and that's what I guess in my comparison to Anchorman on Facebook, because that just seems to be that one of those movies right now where, and again, there's 100 of them.
Yeah.
I was simply just making a statement, but and I think we actually quote Step Brothers more than we do Anchorman. That being said, there was just so many fucking one-liners in this one, and again, throwaway lines, just that were amazing.
I don't know about Bowling Alley. Definitely roaming around the streets of New York, catching a bus after stealing a tie.
Yeah, you could probably do that.
Yeah, she definitely fits that. I'm not sure about Bowling Alley.
Well, I think from the status that you're coming from with a butler shopping with his playboy who has $1 billion, I think Bowling Alley. The only time they bowl is when it's in somebody's house.
Yeah.
You met a prince?
I've been a nice guy, but with my help, he could become a prince.
Who is he?
Just a guy.
What does he do?
Nothing.
Another beauty. How does he make a living?
Look, I have to make dinner.
I take it this bum will be calling you.
Dad, he's a millionaire.
You have my permission to marry him.
Barney Martin. It's freaking
Seinfeld's dad.
Yeah, it's Morton Seinfeld.
Fucking love that guy.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, and
he's great in this.
He is great. All of his reactions to everything are just absolutely perfect. And then
he is wearing the worst toupee ever made ever.
Is he wearing a toupee? I don't think I put that together.
That's his real hair?
I think so, because this was a long time ago, and he still
like
had some
dead squirrel or something.
He definitely still had some hair when he was playing.
I don't think so.
On
I think
Seinfeld.
this is a toupee.
After this scene, did you say dead squirrel?
Yeah.
And you know what's funny about that is in New York the squirrels are actually gray. Did you know that?
Oh.
And here they're tan. So
It's the summer.
I would have the completely different. So like geographically.
Take your time.
If you say fuck, I'm not even drinking tonight. Son of a bitch. Never mind. I'll talk about the flower guy. I love when he's talking with the flower guy and he's just like, okay, I'll have 24 roses, and then he's just like, what are these? I'll have some of those, and then he's just getting love advice from the guy, and it's like, he goes, did you whistle a lot? I mean, I whistle. He's like, I whistled. I fucking just thought the flower guy was just like, I can't even believe all this shit that he's buying. I'm going along with this.
Oh, yeah.
And then real love advice, felt good.
Where did those go? Did we see those go anywhere? I never saw flowers get delivered.
There was a part where she was standing in her.
Because he ordered like a whole room full of flowers, but I never saw flowers anywhere.
When he showed up drunk, there, she was doing the dishes and there was the big fern in there, and then whenever he showed up drunk, there was a big thing of roses that were red and yellow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure they snuck them in there somewhere. There could have been some in the room.
He probably got cut.
All of that, yeah. Could have got cut, and then he's on his way out the door. You're the witch. I actually really liked this line. You're the rich one, the one who drinks. He's like, how does it feel to have all that money? And Dudley Moore's just like, feels great. Feels great. What's he supposed to say?
I love that he's honest about
that.
Fuck
yeah. It feels fucking good.
I can't marry Susan Johnson.
Really?
I met this girl.
Arthur, you are a charming boy. Unfortunately, every time you have an erection, it makes the papers. Goodness. I sound like a dime novel. Peanuts!
That's my favorite. I say that every time I see Peanuts, unless it's in somewhere where I shouldn't be yelling, Peanuts!
What else would you say? You wouldn't say cashews.
I say it just from that. I freaking love the Martha character. I think she's amazing. Just what a cool grandma. She's just like, she tells him, like, make no mistake. You're too old to be poor. You don't know how. And then she just says, marry Susan and cheat with the nobody from Queens. And that's what they all expected him to do. And he didn't want to do that.
No, he did want to, because at one point he told her he'd put her up in an apartment.
He did start to say that, but he stopped himself.
When his fiance walked in.
He was drunk.
My mom yelled peanuts at me on the phone today when she was like, if you're about to watch this movie, I need to just tell you one thing. And she just screamed peanuts at me. Yeah. So I had to wait the whole movie to figure out what the fuck she was talking about.
I thought she said penis at first, and I was like, oh, they're pouring peanuts.
No.
Okay, got it.
No.
So a dime novel? Is she from the 20s?
Probably.
Crap.
Yes, she would be.
Right.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah.
Probably before that. No.
Are we supposed to know what a dime novel is?
I know it is.
Anyone supposed to know what a dime
Yes, I worked in a
novel is?
bookstore. Well,
You
she's
probably
referring
knew
to
it.
like smutty
I know.
This was 35 years ago.
romance novels.
Right.
I used to sell the kind that had Fabio on the front to old women that would just like not look you in the eyes. They just like slide it across the table.
The numbers are off.
And they were all used
no, that's
books
right.
and like
Ew.
I know this is last minute, but something came up. I can't make it. I'm sorry.
Fine, no problem. What?
Linda. Listen, the truth is I'm getting engaged tonight. The easiest thing in the world would be to lie to you, but I like you and I
Look, no sweat.
Linda.
We had some laughs. Come on.
I wanted to tell you the other night, but I just...
Don't worry about it. I have to go, okay? Bye.
No!
Would you like a beer? I'll get you a beer, okay?
I'll be all right, sweetheart. I just have to be alone for a minute.
Oh, God.
I can't bear it. Oh.
I laughed at that scene.
Oh, man.
You know that? Linda.
oh, that little girl, that little boy.
Here, I got it right here.
But I have to yell at you guys.
Linda, listen, Linda. Listen.
Okay, what?
Like everything they do at this house, you can't trust everything at Grandma's house.
Okay.
Okay, then what?
Then you're not listening to me.
Then you're not listening to me.
Linda.
What is that from?
It's a little YouTube kid.
video.
Oh,
Linda,
man.
Linda, listen. He's talking to his mom.
That's amazing. He calls his mom Linda.
Linda.
So this would be a good time to go to 5 questions. All right, let's go. Let's talk to Wendy.
Awesome. Yep.
All right, let's talk about the movie Arthur. Once again, as I say, each time we do one of these, I don't want to talk too much about it because I don't want to blow a bunch of things that, again, I don't have any idea what
Let's
Rich...
talk about how she got the movie Arthur.
Okay, yeah, Rich is very interested in this.
He thinks actually he put on my Facebook page today that yesterday that he's convinced that my library is illegally downloading the movies right before I pick them up and putting labels on them.
Yeah, and printing the labels out and just like, here, we just happen to have Arthur from 1981 just sitting back here. That's just bull crap. And The Matrix. And The Notebook.
The library here is part of the Cleveland library system. So the Cleveland library system is huge.
Okay.
Like, if my library doesn't have it, I can order it. I mean, there's just libraries all over the Cleveland area that they'll ship it from for free.
And what's the benefit? It's just that you've already
It's
got
free.
your card, so it's free. You're just checking it out.
It's free. I just check it out. I order it. They ship it to my library, and my library is literally around the block from my house.
Right.
I've been fortunate and not. Well, actually, I think Rockstar came in today. I have to go pick that one up.
Right. Oh, you haven't seen that one yet.
I haven't seen that one yet either. They're just huge selection of movies.
I think that's really smart because I will admit, I mean, I may actually own a lot of these, but DVDs have been stored in the attic for many, many moons at this point.
I have giant cabinets full of DVDs because I used to buy 3 or 4 DVDs every single weekend. Anytime any decently major movie came out, I bought the DVD every single time. So I've got closets of DVDs, and we're gonna watch a movie. And
yeah,
and I know the DVD's in the closet. I'll just download it.
Yeah,
it's just $2.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I there's no way I could get to the DVDs, but I have been thinking a lot about it because it's like a lot of the movies that we're gonna do. There's stuff that I've picked from and so I own them.
Right,
but. It does add up, $3.99, $4.99, sometimes $2.99, $1.99, a pop. But the good thing about these classics like Arthur is I had Cinemax. So on Cinemax is free.
Right.
So because they're
on demand.
On demand, yeah. I guess the way that works is if they're showing it that month or something,
exactly, you
can get it on demand on the Cinemax HBO.
Right.
Really?
On their stuff. Yeah. So the first thing that we do is we check our cable first. We have DirecTV. We check DirecTV first to see, and then we go to and then I just do a search online and find out where it is. Sometimes it's on Amazon Prime, sometimes it's on Netflix, and then sometimes it's
CanIStream.it has the streaming ones. They don't talk about the on-demand ones though.
Okay.
But they'll if it's on Amazon or
well, that's
Netflix
good to
or
know.
something. Yeah.
Okay, so let's post that link as a separate post on our Facebook tomorrow. We're talking to Wendy Croft from lovely Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio, mentioned in so many songs.
You should write a song about Ohio. That'd be a good, cool title.
Think about that.
It'd be a good title. Not really make the song about
Cleveland.
Ohio.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But
Make it about another state.
Yeah, some other.
Because I love
arbitrary-
Texas.
Well, that'd be a good one.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just name it Ohio, and it'd be like ironic and stuff.
Right. People will think it's hilarious every time.
Every time.
So Cleveland's mentioned in a lot of songs. So I do mention it in Ohio. Huey Lewis mentioned it. Sublime mentioned it. It's a pretty rock and roll city, isn't it?
Isn't the thing there?
Cleveland rocks.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's there.
It's there, right?
Yeah.
Well, that would.
Yeah, and Drew Carey did his show there, and I mentioned all of those things in the song Ohio. If you were a Bowling for Soup fan, you would know that.
I probably would.
Do you know that one season Drew Carey did a thing where he had 18 episodes, so he had 9 bands do the theme song for his show twice, and Bowling for Soup was one of them.
For who?
Really?
For Drew Carey. We did the Drew Carey show thing. We did the song 5 o'clock world when the whistle blows. That song or whatever. So I think it's on Bowling for Soup Goes to the Movies. Pretty sure. Okay, so Wendy, had you seen Arthur before?
I did many years ago.
Yeah, and do you remember you remember liking it before?
I did. I remember liking it.
How do you feel like it aged? Do you feel like it now I'm not trying to lead you down any path. You should be completely
brutally
honest.
I still liked it, if that helps.
Yep.
But I still thought it was funny.
Yes, and I actually think it's insanely funny, and I think it aged really, really well for some reason. I don't know how, but I felt like all the jokes still worked. There wasn't a whole. There's the obvious things with old movies where you're just like, why don't you just take your cell phone out of your pocket and just call that? Like, there's a whole generation of kids that'll never understand. No. But as far as everything else, just the storyline and everything, I thought it went down a cool path, and obviously, I just think Dudley Moore is such a lovable dude. This is one of the ones that I feel really good about picking because it's such a sleeper, and I don't feel like this is on anybody's radar. And then it's just going to be like they're going to watch it because of the podcast, and it's either going to be, the funniest thing they've ever seen, or they're going to want to kill Rich. But either way, we all win.
Nobody wants to kill Rich.
Yeah, I know that. I do know that. It's actually that's probably not true.
That's probably not true. Yeah.
All right, it is time once again for 5 questions with Wendy Croft, one of our producers here at Jaret Goes to the Movies. We're very, very thankful for that.
If you would like to be a producer.
You can go to patreon.com and search Jaret Goes to the Movies, or you can just go to jaretgoestothemovies.com.
And click on Be on the Show.
We started to sound really radio DJ there, didn't we? Okay, Wendy, are you ready for your 5 questions? I think you've done this before, haven't you?
I sure have.
Okay, so you know how it works. You get 5 questions, and then you get 1 bonus question. The 1 bonus question can replace 1 wrong answer in the 5 questions. However, if you do not get them all right, you do not get the prize, meaning you need to get 5 out of 6 right.
What is the prize, Jaret?
Today, the prize is clippings from Rich's mustache. We're going to send you mustache clippings straight from Rich's mustache.
And I'm due, so it'll be big clippings.
And it's going to be good. They'll be nice and salt and peppery. You can fool your friends in the salt shaker. Pepper shaker.
He can keep them and throw them in the garbage with his pistachio shells.
Put them in the garbage with your pistachio shells. Yeah. All right, Wendy, are you ready for the first question?
I sure am.
The first question is Dudley Moore taller than the star of Game of Thrones?
The star?
I don't watch Game of Thrones.
Okay, but think about pictures that you've seen, and also, I might not be talking about the person that you think I am.
I'm going to say no.
That is correct. He is not taller than the star of Game of Thrones. The star of Game of Thrones, once again, is the Khaleesi, and that's for obvious reasons. All right, question number 2, Wendy. Number 2 is this. In the movie Arthur, Dudley Moore appears to be very, very, very intoxicated pretty much 3/4 of the movie. Have you, yes or no, ever seen a member of Bowling for Soup that intoxicated?
Yes.
That is correct.
That was kind of an easy one.
Now, hold on. Question number 3. Can you name that band member?
It'd be any of you. All 4 of you.
I'm sorry,
no,
that is...
Chris. No, I'm going to take it back. Take that back. Because I've never really seen Chris like that. You or Eric for sure.
Okay, it seems like you're narrowing it down. We're going to have a final answer, Wendy.
Eric.
That is the correct answer, Wendy. Very good. That is true. A couple of times in Cleveland, he has been too drunk to finish the show. So you have seen him that intoxicated. And that is 100% a very, very good answer and a very well thought through answer by you. I liked your reasoning.
What happens?
We just kind of try to get to the end of the show as quick as we can. And
nobody steps in for him, or
no? I mean, he does it about once a tour.
He's still on stage holding the bass, is what you're saying.
Correct. It happens about once a tour. He just
much.
kind of gets to the point where it's like it's getting real bad towards the end, and then we may like not do an encore or do 1985 as the encore or something. But we're professionals, and I'm not saying he's the only one that's ever been this way, because he's definitely not, but he is the most consistent. I would say that. So,
right.
And he's good at what he does, ladies and gentlemen. He's good at what he does. Question number 4. You are rolling through these things. This is amazing. All right. Question number 4. In movies about people trying to get a shitload of money, we've had Dudley Moore and we've had Richard Pryor in Brewster's Millions. The better of the 2 movies is...
Arthur.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct. Now, I will say that was a trick question because the answer was obviously Arthur, and Brewster's Millions was actually not even in contention for that prize. Okay, so going to question number 5, you're killing it. You may not even need the bonus question.
You may not.
I'm afraid of the bonus question.
If you do get the bonus question correct. Now, number 5 is this. Who is Liza Minnelli's mother?
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland, that is correct. Hold on, there's a second part to this question.
Oh, 2-parter.
Who is Lily Tomlin's mother?
I don't know.
That is correct. Nobody knows who Lily Tomlin's mother is. That is a correct...
That should have been the trick question.
That is a correct answer. You got 5 for 5. You could still not only win the prize, but you could steamroll through the prize by answering Rich's bonus question, and you will take home some lovely mustache clippings. And
be one of 3 now.
Be one of 3 people who have gotten all 6 correct.
That's right.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so let's hear it. The bonus question is...
Wendy.
Rich.
And Jaret kind of stole my thunder a little bit on his first question. Which is taller? Dudley Moore or Russell Brand's penis?
Oh, for the love of God, Rich.
Think about it.
I'm going to go with Dudley Moore.
That technically is correct, but damn, it's close. It's real close.
Is it Dudley Moore now? Because we'd have to dig that motherfucker up and stand him up. You know, he probably shrunk a smidge.
In his heyday.
Does Russell Brand show his ding-ding?
No, but you hear stories, right?
Oh, you hear stories about it being like tree trunkish or something like that?
I feel like there's a theme with the bonus questions that Rich has asked me.
Yeah, he likes...
I didn't even mention a Bobo, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Wendy, thank you as always. And also, thanks for your feedback today. It really does help us a lot. We're trying to narrow in on this and just trying to make sure that as we start to, because it's getting busier and busier each month. And with that, we would just want to make sure that we're doing everything right. So,
sure. No, I love what you guys are doing. I think it's great. It
Awesome.
definitely is my favorite part of the week when I have to log on at 6 a.m. and I get up and that's my quiet part of the day, and it's the best time of the day for me to listen to it. And I love it. I think you guys are great together, and I think it's a good thing.
Well, thank you so much. All right, Wendy, we're going to dive into this. Thank you for the kind words. You know we love you.
All right, we love you too.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, God, Hobson, please. Don't die anymore. It's getting very boring.
I told you I only got a cold. Now go and get engaged.
I just told Linda I was getting engaged.
I don't know why. A little tart like that could save you a fortune in prostitutes.
Listen, old man. Don't ever talk about her that way again. She's the best person I know. God damn it, why are you such a snob?
Yeah.
He's known her for like how many days now?
I thought the same thing, but maybe because it really is a short movie. Maybe
we didn't get a montage that is supposed to convey that. Maybe they didn't have those before 18 or something. But
maybe not. I did think the same thing, and I wondered there has to have been more to it than just that.
Right.
I mean, she's supposed to come over.
Let's just pretend that time has passed.
They've spent a few times together.
Otherwise,
we know they didn't do it. We know they didn't do it because she points that out when they're talking to the horse. So this is where we see we see Dudley Moore driving his car and just drinking the bottle as he's getting there, and he starts off and he's depressed because he's got to go get engaged, and then by the time he gets there, he's good old drunken Dudley Moore.
Want a drink?
I never drink.
Ah,
No one in my family ever drinks.
that's great. You'd probably never run out of ice your whole life.
I don't drink because drinking affects your decision making.
You may be right. I can't decide. It's just a little humour. Where's the rest of this moose?
So
the dad's awesome.
I fucking say just a little bit of humor anytime somebody doesn't laugh at one of my jokes.
Right.
All the time. Dude, I fucking love the whole moose bit because he walks in and he's just like, first thing he sees the moose, he just goes, "This must be awfully embarrassing for you." Just so funny. Because his head's hanging on the wall.
A lighting guy fell off the ladder when he was doing the moose bits.
Really?
Yeah, he was laughing so hard he fell off the ladder.
Oh, God, because it just keeps going. He does where's the rest of this moose? You must have hated this moose. And then he's like, why don't you forget the moose? But then he goes, anyone stood in my way, they got hurt. And Arthur just looks really slowly at the moose like, oh, fuck, what did you do?
So the dad doesn't drink.
None of his family drinks.
None of his family drinks.
That's what he said.
Yet they have a full bar with ice ready to go at a moment's notice.
And their guests
That's what rich people do.
So
Is
the
that
dad
really a thing?
Yeah.
The dad
That's
killed
what
a man.
the purpose?
He admitted.
With his bare hands.
When he was 11.
Would you kill a man?
Hold on. But you gotta think about what Arthur's reaction to it. He goes, I went into the kitchen, I took a knife, and I killed him right there in the kitchen. And Arthur goes, you probably ate out that night then with the dead man.
That's good. I thought that was funny.
Would I kill a man?
So he's intruding.
Yeah.
Would you kill him?
Yeah. The answer to this is 100% yes.
Okay.
I think first I would probably try to.
That is the correct answer.
What?
What?
No.
I'd kill the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, if somebody's in my house that doesn't belong here or whatever, and the safety of my family is.
I would totally kill.
I don't own a gun.
An intruder.
But I'm thinking about getting one.
Yeah, I don't think I don't.
Rich is thinking about killing intruders.
I don't think I should talk about that for many reasons, but
sure.
you know, and honestly, you shouldn't think whether I'm one way or the other on that because
right, we live in Texas.
We live in Texas.
That's right.
I'll shoot you in the head.
Would you shoot Miller again?
No,
I
wouldn't.
Come on, he's right over there.
I would not shoot Miller again.
It's not gonna hurt.
It scared me a lot, man.
Unless he walked in our house in the middle of the night.
So we're talking about is, and we talked about this on another podcast, but I was hunting with my brother and his friends, and
shoot Miller.
Yeah, so Miller's way across the field, and I'm just like, this sucks. I haven't shot anything. My brother just goes, shoot Miller, and I go, all right.
I can't hear the name Miller without hearing that in my head.
And you know, it took like a second for it to. I mean, it seemed like it was in slow motion, and then he just starts dancing, and I just. You know, when you shoot someone, you shouldn't ever do this, but you shoot someone from a long range with a shotgun.
You should never, ever do this.
It's called peppering them, and never, ever fucking do that because it sucked, and I felt really bad.
Arthur, don't you get it? You can get drunk, you can throw up, you can forget to call me for months. You can't lose with me. I know you too well. And I'm much stronger than you are. I know how alone you are. I hate how alone you are. I've cried because you're so alone. Don't be afraid, Arthur. You're never going to be alone again.
Waiter? I'll have another one. You want another fish?
Don't drink any more, Arthur.
Susan,
Yes, Arthur.
you're such an asshole.
You want another fish? And just all of the fuck. But then two more big ones that I say all the time is my doctor has advised me that I must do 10 of these an hour. So I fucking say that to bartenders all the time. And then, do you have any objection to naming a child Vladimir, even if it's a girl? So he gets out of this situation.
He goes to Linda's.
Drinks and drives again.
Big move for me, never on a car, but I love the balancing the drink bit.
I have that written down. That whole bit is awesome.
I do that bit at shows all the time. Like I'll fucking put my beer up and then turn around like I'm afraid it's gonna fall off. And man, that is one of those like chicks cannot hold you smoke. That is another one of those where every time I see him do that bit, it just makes me fucking cry with laughter because it's so real and so genius.
I wasn't crying, but I did chuckle a little bit.
The exchange with so I'm curious as to what you hate this, right? Because the woman comes out yelling,
yeah, and it's just so stage acted.
It's pretty stagey. So I feel like there's a lot of Broadway actors in this movie.
Yeah, I mean Liza Minnelli was doing stage acting
exactly, and I feel like Hobson was as well. I feel like that's just kind of one of those things.
So bad. I mean, he was very. He had a lot of subtleties.
I think he was a stage actor, though. Is what I'm saying. I think they were stage.
I liked Hobson.
You spoiled little bastard. You're a man who has everything, haven't you? But that's not enough. You feel unloved, Arthur. Welcome to the world. Everyone is unloved. Now stop feeling sorry for yourself, and incidentally, I love you. Marry Susan, Arthur. Poor drunks do not find love, Arthur. Poor drunks have very few teeth. They urinate outdoors. They freeze to death in summer. I can't bear to think of you that way.
I need Linda, Hobson.
I see. Well, perhaps fate will lend a hand, Arthur. One never knows.
I never noticed the perhaps fate will lend a hand.
Oh,
line. So I will say
that was foreshadowing of him
as
going
a kid.
in.
I remember being confused that he just told him to marry him, then all of a sudden he shows up at Linda's with a dress.
Oh, right.
And so, and again, I wasn't processing any of this at 9 years old the same way that I would have. I'm sure I saw this many, many times as a kid, but there were little things like this, and one more that we missed. When he goes into Linda's house and he knocks over the mail,
and he's doing
he's trying to get the napkin holder. It's a mail holder. Trying to get the mail holder back together, and then he just goes, "This one's a goner." I can love it. Yeah. So good.
Again, I am sure in 1981 this bit fucking killed, but I still was like, I've seen this 1,000 times.
Yeah, you know what, and maybe that's true, but I feel like it wasn't acted like the same way that Dudley Moore did it. Man, it's just so perfect. It's so great.
Would you get me a cup of tea? I wish to speak to Linda. Oh, sure. There is an engagement party tonight at Arthur's father's house in Southampton. Here is the address. Perhaps you should attend.
Why, are all the ones he passed up coming?
Young woman, this is a tie you cannot steal. This is a tie I'm afraid you're going to have to work for.
Are you inviting me to Arthur's engagement party?
This is not an invitation. However, if there is one thing that old gentlemen can still do, they can still spot young gentlemen in love.
Oh.
Give me some tea.
He's coming through. Well, then the tea comes through, and he's just like, I despise tea. Go get me 2 aspirin. You'll find him on the top shelf to the left behind the untouched shaving cream.
Because he hasn't shaved.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
So
that
good. And then, all right, so.
See, this is where he did the 180. This is where he said, I love you, but, and by the way, I love you. And then he does this, and this is what I was like, Oh, he really likes this guy. Yeah. I didn't get that until these 2 scenes, and I was like, oh, he's not an asshole.
I don't know. I think you saw it a few times up front, as Casey pointed out when she took up for him. Also in the exchange where he calls her, when Arthur actually blows up at him, you definitely see the concern instantly in his face, like, shit, I pushed it a little bit too far. I mean, obviously he then you get the line later, which we will get to. But
well, I got bogged down on that scene where he yells at Hobson because of the opposite reason. It's like, oh, why are you just met this girl? So I didn't zero in on Hobson's love for him because I was so fixated on why would he be saying that. But
right. Best girl I know is a bold fucking statement to yell at somebody. Right. I mean, you would have to be.
Yeah, but, clearly, I think the reason it took him back, like why it caught him off guard so much is, think about the way that he talked to the hooker that was in there, like, put on this robe, okay, say bye. Like, and he's clearly probably been through, I mean, God knows how many women where he's, kind of belittled and put him down and made jokes about him. So I think the fact that for once he said something to him about a girl and it offended him. He was like, oh shit, I guess he actually likes this one.
And that's a great point because maybe that was a switch in Hobson's mind as well. It's like if he likes her this much to lash out at me, which I think
that's what we were supposed to get out of that.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And I also think Linda was really cold in this scene.
In the scene with Hobson?
Yeah, it had to have been like 60 degrees in there because her nipples were just...
Were they? I didn't even notice that.
Oh, God, she wasn't wearing a bra.
I was just like, no, she was like, are you feeling okay?
I'm like, I think she was pretty nice considering he was a huge dick to her and the guy that was associated with him,
she's like,
not engaged.
Headlights were on. Engaged.
Have you seen a doctor? Yes. And he's seen me.
So we go to the engagement party.
Go to the engagement
She
party.
looks nice for once in her life. Like that dress was pleasing to look at.
100% disagree. I think it was terrible. The fucking pink
80s,
thing
though.
with the no. I remember back then thinking it looked like Pepto-Bismol got fucking spilled on a coffee table.
I thought she looked nice.
Terrible. No, I don't get it. I did like there's a couple of subtleties that kids wouldn't catch. Put the cigarette in the mouth and like the guy just automatically has a lighter. And
that hit me. I was like, nobody does that.
Yeah, nobody does that anymore. But then Arthur gets up on the piano and
motherfucker can play.
Yes, he can. He actually really could too.
That was him playing. Yeah, and it was amazing.
Yeah, he was really good. And then he busts out with "You better watch out, better not." They're like, "How does it feel to be married?" Blue Moon. So great. But I do sing "If You Knew Susan Like I Knew Susan." Whoa, I need a drink. I like to sing that from time to time.
Do you play it on the piano as well?
I can't play the piano that well. I pick at the piano.
This is kind of like prom night, isn't it? I mean, we're all dressed up. Have you ever been in love?
No. You?
No. But when I was little, I thought the moon followed me.
What?
Well, I would walk, and I thought that the moon went any place that I did.
That's great.
No, I know it's silly, but I was only 8 years old.
Terrible acting.
Yeah, actually, you know what?
Horrible.
Okay, let's just ignore this scene altogether.
Okay.
I feel like this had to have been an afterthought because they were just like, we got to hold on, wait, we're ignoring the scene, Rich. Play along.
Sorry.
Jesus
My
Christ. Bad. I totally thought the moon followed me too. In cars, because you look out the window as you're traveling around, and it would just like always be in the same spot, like right there, just follow me all the time.
I remember thinking when I was younger that it was a total whore move to show up at an engagement party and go after the groom.
It's a little bit of a whore move,
just a little bit.
I thought I'd find you here. He just loves that smelly old horse. Have we met?
I don't think you have. Linda Morona, this is Susan Johnson, my fiancée.
I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Of course.
I'd say that if I were you.
Oh.
We might as well tell her, Arthur.
You tell her.
I think at this point,
never
Susan is lovely.
Ever let female worlds collide. Never.
Who worlds collided could never tear us apart.
Well, he didn't exactly invite her.
Yeah, you get her the hell out of there ASAP.
Yeah, I feel like that too. That whole
and don't let him talk. Don't let him talk.
Yeah, well,
That's
I don't
the
think
worst.
he had that plan. He was just about to kiss her.
Yeah, that
was about to happen.
Go do that somewhere else.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Get in the stable. She's never going to look in there.
Right.
With the smelly old horse.
No.
She looks good, though. I think I would have picked Susan, to be honest.
Yeah. Craziness and all.
I think I'd have just went for it. You know, the crazy girls keep it interesting.
Yep.
It's fun. You know that case, right?
Yes, I do.
Arthur. What? It's not so bad. You don't need to be so frightened about it.
What?
Dying. Seems natural. Even comforting now.
You even teaching me how to die?
I'm through teaching you anything, Arthur. You've grown up.
I have to say this because I've written this down, so I'm not just saying it. I have the friendship they both start to show here is really touching. I was touched.
Yeah. So back to the presents.
Not like in the third grade touch.
Because he got him cowboy hats.
Right.
And guns and a basketball.
Right.
And then he makes him put the hat on. He's just like, if I begin to die, please take this off. But as the scene goes to the next scene where we're in this love touching moment, did you notice the change in the hospital room?
No.
He had his whole fucking bedroom brought there. And they set it up just like his fucking. I mean, the chess set was in there and everything.
No, I knew that he was bringing in stuff. I didn't notice that he had made it look like the bedroom.
I mean, it was.
Do you remember cap guns?
Of course. Actually,
Jeff. Cap guns
Jeff got me one for my birthday a couple of years ago.
They still have them?
Yeah, we used the shit out of them.
Are they better now?
Nope, exactly the same. End up shooting a couple little things through there, and then we hit the caps with a hammer. I taught Jack how to do that. Left the black marks on the sidewalk, never came off.
That was like the ultimate toy, but it had finite resources. So as soon as you run out of the caps that came with the gun, like you didn't get any more caps until like the next Christmas or something.
Yeah, it was that was something that I would ask for at the toy section at the grocery store, but I was definitely not always permitted to get something. But there you go.
Same here.
So as you're saying that this was touching, I will be honest. When he says you're a good son, fucking slayed me. Totally cried.
You cried?
I cried.
Oh my God.
I did. Yep, I cried.
Are you going to cry right now?
I am not going to cry right now. In fact, right now we are going to go to our email box. Let's go to the email box. It is time for fan mail. Our fan mail question is from someone that you know, actually.
Oh, yeah.
His name is Chris Coleman.
Oh, I do know him.
Hey, guys, and by guys, I mean Jaret, because nobody cares what Rich thinks, really. On the last episode, you briefly talked about future tech, a.k.a. flying cars. I was curious to hear your thoughts on tech in the industries, music, internet, source, digital signatures, or whatever the hell Rich is overpaid to do, that either has made the biggest impact or you see coming down the road that will make a big impact. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks,
I love my brother.
I love my brother.
Chris, I'm gonna tell you this right now. I'm sure that Rich has an answer for his field. The problem is this: if I start to get into how technology will affect my field, he's gonna have shit to say about it because he apparently knows more than I do, even though it's his fucking hobby. And so I'm just going to steer clear of this just based on the fact that we've been arguing this whole episode anyway.
We talked about flying cars in
Great fucking question.
Captain America.
Great question. And obviously, if you'd like to sit down and discuss how technology has affected music at any time, I would be happy to discuss that with you.
But just not here.
Not here, not right now. Because there's no possible way we agree on any of that. Our producers we should always mention our producers. Producers are our Patreon supporters, and we have awesome Patreon rewards. You can always check that out. We talked about it at the first of the podcast. Go to patreon.com and just search Jaret Goes to the Movies. Thank you to David Murray, Ashley C., Sheila Ray Wonder, Wendy Croft, Diane Small, and David Dooley. We love you guys. By the way, we have no $1 supporters.
None. Well, we have a couple, but their credit cards got declined.
Credit cards got declined. So we need some $1 supporters. One more shout out before we get back to the podcast. Huge shout out and thank you to Mark McGarry, who does all of our artwork. And he's been absolutely killing it. And I know you guys have split it up a couple of times, but most part.
No. I did one because he was behind in his work stuff.
It's literally like something that people look forward to every day, Mark. So thank you so very much for all you do.
Yep.
What happened?
Hobson died.
I know. He loved you very much. You know that.
Yeah. And I think I'll grow up. I want to marry you. Although I'm supposed to marry Susan in 20 minutes.
You know, he seems drunk, but he sounds sincere.
Teacher roll.
Yeah.
Look, the money. Arthur, can you live without the money?
Well, we'll have to. Please marry me. I'll try to be sober, and I'll try to make you happy, although it won't be easy because I'll be poor.
We'll be poor.
Oh, we'll be poor.
Most people are poor.
Eat your roll. So the guy with the roll,
Yeah.
I fucking recognized him instantly. It's
He looked familiar.
It's Lawrence Tierney. He's Joe from Reservoir Dogs. He's like the main guy that brings
real
all
old-
of the guys
yeah,
together. And I recognize him right off. And he's been in a lot of stuff. So, so he picks up Linda. He's taking her with him to the church, but somehow he still walks in alone. Long walk down that aisle.
Before we get to that, I generally, when I'm making a huge life-changing decision, I just go and get hammered.
Yeah.
And then whatever decision I come up with when I'm hammered,
Yeah.
I do that one and I
Right.
act on it.
Right. And you go ahead and
that's how I do.
You go ahead and get in the
everything.
outfit.
I think that's the best policy is just to get fucking shit faced, make the decision, and then act on it during the drunken.
Yeah, Jared like proposed to me in the closet like 4 times.
That's actually
Like,
true.
hammered.
100%
Over our
true.
dating period.
I think you proposed to me as well, by the way.
Did you take him seriously the first time you did it?
No.
Okay,
What?
that's what I'm saying. That's my
We've been
point.
living a lie.
No, we didn't get engaged.
Oh, so the thing that actually I did think about that this time, but I thought about it less from his perspective than I did from Linda's. Like to me, she's crazy, like strong New York chick. She should have been like, "You're hammered. You're in a tuxedo. Get the hell out of here."
Can you blame her? He has $750 million.
I think if it were being portrayed that actually meant anything to her, maybe I wouldn't have been able to. But it's just,
name a person that actually doesn't mean it. $750 million.
Oh no, obviously it meant
Okay.
something to her. She asked if he could live without the money though, but you know, she does make the face when he turns it down later that it's like, oh, bummer, you know. Get drunk once, you're fucking out, dude. That's it. Learn to be homeless all by yourself, fuckface.
Oh, hi, Linda. I think you know everyone. This is Susan's father.
God, you're really hurt.
Got him right where I wanted.
I fucking love. So this exchange turns into, you know, obviously her dad's beating the crap out of him. He calls her a slut. The slut gets everybody's attention. The grandma starts to walk that way, but I love how Arthur's like crying. He's like, he's taking the knife out of the cheese. Do you want some cheese? And she's like, no, I don't want to die.
The thing I laughed at, like out loud, was when he went to go punch him and he punches him in the gut really hard and
Yeah.
it doesn't even make a sound.
Yeah, doesn't
It was
even
like
faze him.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And then he just knocks him backwards
Not
down
good.
over the table.
I don't know. Rich, it's a cheese knife. He's going to get stabbed with a cheese knife. And he asked the other person that's going to get stabbed if she wants some cheese. It's fucking hilarious. Fucking hilarious.
It needed less ham with the cheese. One of the bridesmaids looks right into the camera during that scene.
Breaks
by
the
way.
fourth wall, just
Yeah,
like
she
a
totally just looks right at the camera the whole time. It's
So-
like, lady.
I don't want to take away your thunder.
All right. I don't have any thunder to
But,
be taken
but
away.
if I've just like completely told my fiance that I'm in love with another woman
What?
and her dad beat the shit out of me and almost stabbed me with a cheese knife, I would 100% go up in front of the congregation and blame her.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. As you probably have surmised by now, there will be no wedding. The bride has had second thoughts and has decided not to marry me. Most of you know me. Can you blame her? I won't be seeing most of you anymore because I'm going to be poor.
I thought the same thing that you did. I was like, holy shit, he just threw her under the bus.
I don't think so.
The second time I watched it, I listened carefully and I go, you know what? He was actually taking the blame by saying,
It's my fault. I'm a drunk.
it's my fault. I'm a drunk. Can you blame her?
Right.
She's not getting dumped. I'm getting dumped.
Right.
So that I think I took it
Yeah,
as
I
that
took
the
it
second
that
time.
way
The
as
first time
well.
I actually wrote a note and I was
Yeah.
like, what an asshole.
Yeah, good
You
observation.
just fucking blamed
Yeah.
her for that.
I kind of figure it's easier to say to all of her friends and family, like, I didn't just leave her in the altar,
Right.
like she's devastated. I'm a bad person. I'm a drunk. Why would she want to marry me? She dumped me.
Right. Totally agree. Good observations, guys, for real.
Look, as long as we're here, do you promise to love me and obey me and be a good boy?
I do. And do you promise never to put that stuff on my face again?
I do.
Oh, God. We're gonna be great.
Yeah.
We're gonna be like one of those poor couples on the subway who hold hands. How much is the subway?
60 cents. But if you spit, it's a $500 fine.
Then I won't spit.
Good. None of the best people do.
I'll get a job. That's what I'll do. I'll get a job. I'll work. God, this is going to be great.
Good. Look how excited he is.
I'll come home from work. We'll be ironing. We'll eat some cheap, disgusting food.
Stop! That is out of the question. There has never been such a thing as a working class back. And there never will be.
He says, I've always been rich, and I've never been happy. And she goes, well, I've always been poor and I've always been happy. And then Martha's like,
she said,
I've always been mostly happy.
Yeah,
and
mostly.
Martha's like, I've always been rich and I've always been happy. And so anyway, she offers him the money and they walk away. He's going to go get a tuna fish sandwich.
I took the money. I mean, I'm not crazy.
And he says to her, he goes, you ever been on a yacht? And she just goes, no, is it wonderful? And he just goes, it doesn't suck.
It does not suck. I mean, obviously, I didn't like the stage acting and all that kind of stuff, and it just felt a little dated. It didn't hold up well for me. But the actual problem I had with the movie was the ending. It just was like, oh, he's just going to continue being a drunk, and he's going to be the same. I didn't see any real growth, other than the fact that, hey, I actually like this girl. I didn't see a lot of growth, and it stuck out a little bit, but where it really stuck out is when I watched the Russell Brand version. He doesn't get the girl at the end. He actually says,
thanks
I'm
for
not
ruining that in case I wanted to watch it.
You're never going to watch it.
I don't know. Maybe I will.
He doesn't get the girl at the end. He actually loses the girl and doesn't get the money. He goes off and he goes to AA, and he actually goes off and you see him become sort of a better person. She does her thing that she was going to do, and then they sort of rekindle. That's the kind of ending that makes sense to me that I'm touched by or captivated by.
That makes sense that they would have made it that way. I mean, the new one, I kind of get that there is no real end. Like, you don't really get to see what happens. I do think he has a little bit of growth.
They eventually gets her, but in this exact scene that they do, he does not. It just doesn't.
I think his growth in the movie,
in a nice little bow,
is that he is probably like two things. Just in the dialogue in the church, is that A, he doesn't care about the money anymore, and supposedly, and B, he's willing to work. He's like, I'll get a job. Like those are two big things that they're like. Why in the beginning he goes, why don't I like this place?
Drunk.
Because people are.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because they're sitting there and he goes, why don't I like this place? He goes, because people work here.
Yeah.
And then the father of Susan offers him a job, and you can just see his face like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden he's like, wait, I can work and I don't need money and it's fine. And that's kind of growth in itself, I guess.
Well, and he said it too. He said it. He even said it at the restaurant. He's just like, I'm going to grow up. And he'd been trying to, he stayed sober for a month after Hobson died or whatever. You could definitely see that, I mean, again, I think we're overthinking it.
Yeah, he's a
comedic
mess.
performance. This is not, I don't feel like they were trying to put forth any kind of message here. I think this was just a story that they told.
Unfortunately, they were not.
That being said, I think the ending is perfectly fine. I think that one of the things that he got the acceptance of his family, of him as a person, and whether or not he's a sloppy drunk or not. His grandmother accepted him and accepted what he wanted to be a happy person. So I think that there's some stuff like that. Next week we will be doing. What are we doing next week?
Because I Said So.
Next week we will be doing
Miller.
Because I Said So with Ashley Miller, who is the voice of the Texas Legends, as well as she's a personal. I think we already talked about this. She's on KVGI radio,
right.
So we discussed that earlier on, and so looking forward to having her here in the studio and making an awesome podcast about a movie that she picked. So I have not seen this one, and we shall see how it goes. Okay, follow us on Facebook, and again, we've talked about Patreon. You can find us on there. Our Twitter is Jaret Movies. And anything else?
We do a live pre-show at 8 Central on Facebook.
I think we should start saying 8:30. Let's just start because that's more realistic.
Okay.
So 8:30
8-ish to 8:30.
And I'm not really sure how much longer that's going to last. I'm not really sure there's anybody's getting today. People got to see me mess with the computer for about 20 minutes, and us not talk to them. It's fucking entertaining as shit. What do you think?
They love it.
They fucking love it. Anyway, we do a pre-show. Sometimes it's at 8. Sometimes it's at 8:30. More than likely 8:30. And we do a post-show after we're done around this time, 11. Oh, you don't know what time it is. Never mind. 11 or 11:30. Thanks for listening. We will see you down the road.